Hello, people. Finished a book, The Citizen Soldier by John Beatty. John Beatty was a mid-level commander of Union troops. It's called The Citizen Soldier because, these guys, they were not professional soldiers. Beatty didn't go to West Point. They just, kind of plucked them. These people would be lawyers or something, and they'd be like, oh, he'd make a good officer. They'd make a fucking officer out of him. So Beatty wrote a book, and it's more like a logbook than anything. This is part of that series. I got 6 more of these, and they were all written soon after the Civil War, and then rewritten and just bound in leather, and there's like a little raised, some soldiers marching here on the cover. It's very nice books. It's even got this thing that you can use to mark your page, and I don't use it. I find that thing irritating. I got quite a few notes in here. I kind of enjoyed this book. He's got a real sense of humor. And he just tells about like day to day. It's each chapter is a different month and a different year. This is second paragraph. Our fortifications are progressing slowly. If the enemy intends to attack at all, he will probably do so before they are complete. And if he does not, the fortifications will be of no use to us. But this is the philosophy of a lazy man, and very similar to that of the Irishman who did not put a roof on his cabin. When it rained, he could not, and in fair weather, he did not need it. Why is it I as an Irishman? I don't know. They, back in them days, the Irish weren't treated too well. Oh yeah. The author, scattered throughout the book, he talks about the songs that they sing in camp and the songs that they sing while they're marching, as long as they're not carrying too much shit and they're all out of breath. They'll sometimes sing when they march. And he's wrote them down, verbatim. And some of them are Irish, some of them are Scottish, some of them are German. They're folk songs. So I'm wondering if I have a little gem here that has recorded some stuff that maybe isn't recorded anywhere else. The men of the Union Army were not soldiers as you might think of. There was drunkenness, insubordination, laziness, officers as well as the enlisted men. And over throughout the book, he talks about at night, he's in his tent, such and such officer comes over to visit. This is what they drink. They do a lot of boozing. At least in the early years. And I got here a little after nightfall, the compliments of a Mrs. Harris were presented to me, with requests that I would be kind enough to call. The handsome little white cottage where she lived was near our bivouac. It was the best house in the village, and as I ascertained afterward, very tastefully if not elegantly furnished. She was a woman of perhaps 40. Her husband and daughter were absent, the former, I think, in the Confederate service. She had only a servant with her, and was considerably frightened and greatly incensed at the conduct of some soldiers, of she knew not what regiment, who had persisted in coming into her house and treating her rudely. In short, she desired protection. She had a lively tongue in her head, and her request for a guard was, I thought, not preferred in the gentlest and most amiable way. Her comments on our northern soldiers were certainly not complimentary to them. She said she had supposed hitherto that soldiers were gentlemen. I confessed that they ought to be, at least. She said rather emphatically that Southern soldiers were gentlemen. I replied that I did not doubt at all the correctness of her statement, but, unfortunately, the branch of the Northern Army to which I had the honor to belong had not been able to get near enough to them to obtain any personal knowledge on the subject. That's the kind of humor that he has. The officers spend a lot of time sitting around drinking. Second paragraph. Tonight, Colonel Hayes and Hobart held quite an interesting debate on the policy of arming colored men and emancipating those belonging to rebels. Hayes, who, by the way, is an honest man and a gallant soldier, presented the Kentucky view of the matter, and his arguments, evidently very weak, were thoroughly demolished by Hobart. I think Colonel Hayes felt, as the controversy progressed, that his position was untenable, and that his hostility to the President's proclamation sprang from the prejudice in which he had been educated, rather than from reason and justice. Pretty much sums it up there. I'm telling you, I'm missing one of these things here, and I don't see it. Here it is. Second paragraph. No, this isn't it. As I write, the moon shines down upon me through an opening in the branches of the beech forest in which we are encamped, and the objects about me, half seen and half hidden, in some way suggest the half-remembered and half-forgotten incidents of childhood. I just thought that was the coolest little paragraph. And, very, very deep stuff there. I'm missing something here. There was something I wanted to read. Yeah, and here it's 398 pages. And here on page 373, the thing just abruptly ends. Here's the last paragraph. Standing here today, I take off my hat to the reader, if by possibility there be one who has had the patience to follow me thus far. And as I bid him goodbye and wish him a happy new year. It's January 1st that he's writing this. The rest of the book, anyways, but where he ended it, they were around Chattanooga and Lookout Mountain. There's a lot of fighting right there. And the last few pages is about an escape from a POW camp. Some Union officers were held in Richmond, and they actually dug a tunnel and escaped. And the guy Hobart that he was talking about a few pages ago is one of the guys that escapes. 104 escape in one night, and 57 of those 104 reach federal lines, so the rest of them are recaptured. I'm not happy because I missed something. I missed something about them entering a town where there's a sign that says Negroes bought and sold here, and he doesn't like that sign, and he wants to make sure that it's taken down. That's about it. Just in my little quarantine here. But, I mean, not really, because I go to work every day. I'm the only one working in a house with 3 adults, so we got to have money coming in. This stupid stimulus thing that we're getting, it's too late. There's millions of people that live hand to mouth in this country. Fucking millions. There's 150 million people in this country that live hand to mouth. They couldn't scrape together $400 if their life depended on it. So the fucking stimulus thing, it's I mean, it'd be nice to get $1,200, but it's way too late. It's stupid. We're all driving around. This country's gonna be the worst on earth for the death rate. Thanks for watching.